welcome to the Joe Cortez Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment and the sports capital of the world. I guess sports because now we got all sports here. And we have my co-host with me, Shelley Stevens. Welcome to again. Hello to our viewers out there. Okay. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about entertainment and a little bit about boxing. Everybody's been asking me, Joe, you tell us a little bit about your career. A lot of people didn't know what was happening in my career, so I got to share it again. Every so often I got to tell everybody. We really got a lot of new viewers every week. So I could tell you a little bit what's going on.
Yeah, so we can dedicate this episode to my husband, who absolutely loves you, and he loves boxing so much, and he's taught me so much, just like you. So now I feel like I know exactly what you guys are talking about when you all get together. So, Joe, why don't you tell everybody how you got started in boxing?
Well, you know, it all started back in the days when there was a fighter by the name of Gaspar Indian Ortega. And Gaspar Ortega was a welterweight contender, came from Tijuana, Mexico. Back in 1955, he came to New York, Spanish Harlem, where I lived, 99th Street between Park and Madison. And Gaspar didn't speak any English. And I saw him and this guy, his brother, they were sitting in front of the stoop when I came out of the building going to school. I see these two guys sitting in front, next door in the building. I looked at these guys, they were kind of strange. I never see these two guys. They looked like Indians. You know, I know they were not Puerto Ricans like me. And they had these flat tops, they looked high cheekbones. I said, these guys are not from here. I said, hey, what you guys doing? How you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Are you guys from around here? Because I like to have conversations with individuals. And they said, well, we're fighters. We come in Spanish. You know, I said, you speak, I talked to them in English. They said, no, speak it in English. I said, oh, okay. They said, habla español? Vamos a hablar español. Let's talk Spanish. And that's how it all started. And Gaspar Ortega didn't know how to get to the gym, Steelman's Gym, which is on 55th Street and 8th Avenue. And I had to show him how to get there from the east side, 96th Street, get up there on the subway. I would take him until he learned how to get to the gym every day. But I was his interpreter. I was 12 years old at the time, and my brother Mike got hooked into it right away. My brother Mike started fighting. My mother didn't want me to fight because I had broken my jaw on both sides. When I was a kid, I fell off a wall in the backyard. Mm-hmm. So I was hospitalized for a month with that. I was all wired up. And my mother said, no, you can't go into boxing like your brother because you got a weak chin. But you know me, when you're young, you have no fear. But I was being bullied a lot in the neighborhood, and I was tired of getting bullied, so I just said, like, I got to do something, you know. I'm tired of getting bullied like this. And Mike said, come on to the gym. You can start working out there. So little by little, I would sneak away, get to the gym, and I would start hitting the heavy bag, the speed bag. Before you know it, the coach, Johnny Markell, would tell me, come on, get in the ring. I want you to box a little bit. And I was always afraid of getting hit in the chin. I was constantly moving. And little by little, when I was... Actually, I didn't start boxing until when I was 15. That's when I started sneaking away to the gym. And my brother Mike was already 1 year older than me. And then he said, Joe, you know, the Golden Gloves right around the corner. And the trainer, Johnny Markell, said, Joe, you know, you're not bad. You look pretty decent for your first year. And being I never hardly got hit because, like I said, I was constantly moving. I don't want to get hit on the chin. I figured I'm going to have a weak chin. My mother kept saying, you got a weak chin. If you get hit, you're going to get knocked out. So don't go to boxing. But I still snuck away. And the guys in the neighborhood wanted us to join the gangs. And I joined the gang for one day only. And that one day was enough for me to say, no, that's not for me. You're throwing bottles and sticks and meeting guys in other neighborhoods. You had the Dragons, you had the Enchanters, you had the Viceroys, and you had the Red Wings. 4 gangs in the vicinity of maybe 1 square mile. And, you know, it was just kind of tough. And I didn't want to get in trouble, so I was a little afraid of going to the gang fights. So I signed up for the Golden Glove with my brother Mike in 1960. And would you believe we both became Golden Glove champions that year? And we were novice champions that year. I was a flyweight, and my brother was a featherweight. And we both became champions that first year. That was the beginning of my career. You know, that's how I started.
Wow.
Little by little. Then I fought the Spanish Golden Gloves that year. I won that as well. Then the following year was for the open division. And my brother, you told me, Joe, there's a guy named Angelo Soto. And Angelo Soto, one of the best fighters in New York. You know, he was a good fighter, good champion. And I wasn't even boxing yet when he was telling me about Angelo Soto. When I was at home, he said, Joe, man, this guy Angelo Soto, he looks so good. He's training at our gym. He's really good. And little by little, you know, when in the Golden Gloves, we ended up fighting in the finals. We both reached the finals. I was a bantamweight, 118-pounder. And we both fought, my brother fought for the lightweight championship against a gentleman by the name of Frank Kalaluka. Frank Kalaluka from the Bronx in New York, the CYO. And I fought Angelo Soto from our same boys club on Jefferson Park branch up on 11th Street, 1st and 2nd. And we both fought for the championship. My brother Mike and I, again, we become Golden Glove champions. Now we're novice champions and we're open champions. And that was a big year, 1961, when we took the Easterns, the New York, the Easterns, and the Nationals. Wow. Now, would you believe that? Anyway, before we continue with my next topic, I want to thank our sponsors for keeping, supporting us with our show and whatnot. And we're going to go to a little brief commercial. We'll be right back to talk to you about my open division.
We are Integrity Solar America, a veteran-owned business and experts in solar energy. We'll give you honest advice and tell you if solar is right for your home. And we'll educate you on how the 30% federal tax credit really works. Integrity Solar can install your system with zero down and no out-of-pocket cost. Visit integritysolar.america.com or call us at 1-800-988-1569. 1-800-988-1569.
Okay, welcome back to the show again. I'm going to keep on with the second championship that my brother Mike and I had in the open division. And so we won the New York Open Division after winning the novice in 1961 was a big year for us. And we ended up winning the Open Championship, New York City. And to become a champion in New York City, you had to be really tough to get to the finals. Mike and I made it to the finals and became champions. Then we had the Eastern Golden Glove Championship. That was a big one in Madison Square Garden as well. All those big championship fights that we had were all in Madison Square Garden. So we fought for the Eastern Championship, and we had to fight for like 4 times in 3 nights. But the last night, you had to fight semifinals and finals.
So isn't there some story about you fighting 2 people in the same night?
Yeah, there 2 nights. There's 2 fights the same night.
Weren't you tired?
No. They were amateur fights, but they were, in the amateur, with Golden Gloves, only 3-round fights. And but I was lucky. I don't know what the heck happened. I must have had my Wheaties that morning because I ended up knocking out both opponents the same night in Madison Square Garden. My brother won one by knockout, one by decision. But I was so fortunate. And people have been looking and say, Joe, but how can you fight twice the same night? But, and that's the way it was back in the days. In 1961, that was the last year, they stopped doing that for the safety of boxing. They didn't want fighters to fight more than once a night. But I was lucky, like I said, I knocked out both opponents. And they'd been looking to see who else. I knocked out 2 guys the same night in Madison Square Garden. They'd been looking, they can't find no record of anybody. So if you guys know of anybody that knocked out 2 guys the same night in Madison Square Garden, let me know because Joe Cortez is the only one in books right now that we know of.
Wow. So how did you make the transition from being a boxer to being a referee?
Well, after I won the Eastern Golden Glove Championship, where I knocked out those 2 guys, we had to go to Chicago. We went up to Bear Mountain to train for 2 weeks. Then they flew to Chicago to fight for the National Golden Glove Championship. And then again, my brother Mike and I, again, became National Golden Glove champions. And that was Mike beat a guy by the name of Tommy O'Shea, and I beat a fighter by the name of Oscar German. And for you individuals think that I'm losing it because no, I can remember everything that happened back then and today. Okay, guys.
You do have a great memory.
Anyway, but I ended up fighting Oscar German. My brother fight Tommy O'Shea. We both became Golden Glove champion. Manuel Stewart, who used to be trained some of the greatest fighters out there. He trained Tommy Hearns. He trained Michael Moore. A lot of great fighters. He was training about 15 or 20 world champions. And one day he saw me at one of the fights. I was working commentating with ESPN, and he said, Joe, are you that fighter they talk about in Chicago? Are you the skinny Puerto Rican from New York? Apparently, that I ended up fighting Oscar German, and you beat Oscar German for the national. I said, yeah, that's me. He said, well, you know, Joe, I didn't get to the finals because Oscar German beat me in the semifinals in Chicago, and I ended up beating Oscar German for the national. It was amazing. I mean, I was only 17 years of age. I'm fighting these guys 25, 26 years old. I mean, knocking these guys out. I mean, most of you viewers out there watching it, I was knocking guys out before you guys were even born. Yeah.
I know. I remember, like, when we first went to your gym. He has a gym that is, like, so big. It's like a big museum. Seriously, he has, like, a real boxing rink in there and pictures of all the people that he has been a referee for or that he has been fighting, and it's just so amazing. And I love going there each and every time I see another picture that I didn't see before. And you have a lot of great memories.
Yeah, before I talk about my professional career, we're going to go to a brief commercial. We'll see you right back.
Are you interested in solar energy but concerned that it won't work for you? Your roof needs repairs. You might want to move. Your electricity bill isn't that high, or you're just not sure if you would qualify for incentives. Integrity Solar America is a veteran-owned business and your trusted source for solar. We'll educate you on solar with straight answers about the 30% federal tax credit and installation costs. Visit integritysolaramerica.com or call us at 1-800-998-1569.
Okay, we're back here now. I'm going to talk about my professional career. I mean, I'm getting so excited talking about my boxing. I get little butterflies in my stomach. I feel like I'm going to get back in the ring again. You know, maybe I make a comeback. You know, I still feel good. Still got a little spark of the old flash. Anyway, so going to you asking me about how did I transition from the amateur to the pros. Well, I became a professional fighter. I turned pro in 1963. I was 18 years old. And I was 18 and went as a professional, and I tried to make it I wanted to be a world champion, but that never happened. You know, my thing was to try to find a way to make a quick buck. You know, in boxing, back in those days, no big money like there is today. Fighters today, some of these champions walk away with $30, $40, $50 million today. Man, I wish they'd come back today and fight with that kind of money. Back in the days when I was fighting, Muhammad Ali was fighting, Joe Frazier, those big fights, and those guys they were lucky they were making $2 or $3 million for a fight, you know. Mm-hmm. And they were great out when boxing was boxing, you know. But anyway, I didn't make enough money. I wasn't doing anything much in boxing as far as a professional with only that one loss. I gave it up. Then I came back as a referee. You know, came back as a referee 8 years later. I was working down. I went down to Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in New York, but I went to Puerto Rico when I was about 25, around there, 25, 26. Actually, yeah, about 25 years old. I went to Puerto Rico, and I started working at the El Conquistador Hotel. And that's about 40 miles out of San Juan, a place called Fajardo, and the town called Fajardo, Puerto Rico. And it was the El Conquistador Hotel. I started working there as a front desk clerk. And I really liked it, you know. And little by little, I started moving up the ranks. And they said, you know, they made me front office manager. Little by little, they made me reservations manager and front office manager. Then about a year later, I got the bug. I wanted to come back again to boxing. So I came back and had one more pro fight. I came back home clean. I had no marks on my face. I wanted to fight, but the whole family, no, Joe, don't do that. You can't do that again. Boxing is not for you. Anyway, so I retired again, and that was my last fight in 1971 in Puerto Rico. But then I met a gentleman by the name of Pat Masher, who was a referee in the Golden Gloves of New York. He was a guest at the El Conquistador Hotel where I was the assistant manager now by then. And then they said, Joe, I got somebody in the lobby calling you. He says he knows you. He wants to talk with you. I got on the phone. Pat Masher. He said, Joe, I'm Joe Cortez. Joe Cortez. I said, yes. He said, Pat Masher. I'm in the lobby. He said, remember, I used to referee your fights in New York and then the Golden Gloves. I said, oh, yeah, you're a police officer, right? He says, yes. So anyway, he was a police officer, but on the side, he would referee amateur Golden Gloves. And He said, Joe, you ever come back to New York? Here's my phone number, give me a call. So it happened the following year, after being 8 years in Puerto Rico, I made him move back to New York. Called him up, and he said, Joe, once you get involved in boxing, I said, amateur referee. I never thought I'd become a referee. So anyway, I started with the PAL in the Bronx, up on Brooklyn Boulevard. And it was Johnny Defoe, who was the director of the Police Athletic League. He got me started. Before you know it, they got me the Golden Gloves. I did the Golden Gloves a couple of months. They reached the New York State Athletic Commission, called me, Joe, we saw you refereeing last week. You're outstanding. We want to turn you pro. I said, I've only been doing it 6 months. Don't waste your time in the amateurs, Joe. We want you to go pro. I turned pro. That was in 1977. In 6 months after I got back to New York from Puerto Rico. And my dream was to do one world title fight. And I refereed for 35 years. And I retired with 176 world title fights. So that was an honor for me.
Wow.
You know, after getting inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame, the National Boxing Hall of Fame, and the International Hall of Fame, I got inducted with Mike Tyson and Chavez. So for me, after refereeing over 1,000 professional fights, 176 of them world title fights, I think I had enough. You know, I said, let me go out on top. I don't want to get pushed out of boxing as a referee. I want to go on my own terms. I retired. But like I said, with Canelo Alvarez was my last championship fight, and that was it in 2011.
So that's when you moved to Vegas, when you became a referee?
No, I was already refereeing back east for 10 years back in New York and Atlantic City. Mm-hmm. I came to Vegas with 50 world championship fights under my belt. Okay. Came here with 50. And then when I retired, like I said, 176, but they had me traveling with the World Boxing Council, the World Boxing Organization, International Boxing Federation, and the World Boxing Association. All the sanctioning bodies would hire me to go referee fights all over the world. Wow. So I was able to travel all over the world several times. But it was an honor for me. 10 years, actually it was 15 years back east and 20 here. That was enough. I said, I'm going to pack it in. But talking about packing it in, let me go to another little commercial, and we'll be right back with you, okay?
Are you interested in solar energy but concerned that it won't work for you? Your roof needs repairs. You might want to move. Your electricity bill isn't that high, or you're just not sure if you would qualify for incentives. Integrity Solar America is a veteran-owned business and your trusted source for solar. We'll educate you on solar with straight answers about the 30% federal tax credit and installation costs. Visit integritysolaramerica.com or call us at 1-800-998-1569.
Well, we're back again here with the Joe Cortez Show and my co-host, Shelly Stevens. Talk to you about, we were talking about boxing. I think we had enough about my sport of boxing. I always wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a movie star. I did some movie stuff, Eddie Murphy, Sylvester Stallone, Antonio Banderas, Wesley Snipes. But some movies I was involved with. But entertainment has always been my dream. But I couldn't do that. So what I do, I got a co-host, Shelly Stevens, who's her husband, and Shelly. They call us twice as nice. They're great entertainers. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your career? How did you get started in the entertainment field?
Actually, pretty much the same way you did. Back in the day, I was a little girl. My mom was a professional dancer, and she used to travel around with a piano player, Fats Domino. And she brought me to one of the shows when I was still a little girl, barely walking. And from being around her in the music business, and I heard him perform this song called Blueberry Hill so many times, I knew it. And so he asked my mother to bring me out on stage, and she sat me on top of the piano, and I sang Blueberry Hill with Fats Domino, and the audience was clapping, and I just never forgot that feeling. And I'm like, I love this feeling. I want this always. Okay, I want to stay in entertainment. So I grew up taking like musical classes in school. And I started doing plays, and then eventually, after college, I decided that, I really wanted to pursue this career. So anyway, I performed musicals in Philadelphia, where I'm from, and then eventually did some Broadway musicals in New York. And that was all great, but then I decided I wanted to see the world. And I'm like, okay, how can I make this work? I want to see the world, but, I don't have a lot of money to go around the world right now. How can I do it? So I became a flight attendant with Pan Am. So, yes, I'm dating myself. Pan Am is not there anymore. But I flew for, like, all these years. And then one time I was home, and I just walked into a restaurant with my girlfriend for my birthday. And there was my husband, Wesley, my husband-to-be. He was playing the piano, and he invited me up to the stage to sing with him. And I did, and right on the spot, somebody hired us to be a duo in the restaurant they were opening. So that's how I got my start singing, with my husband. And then since then, we started doing clubs and weddings all over town. And then somebody hired us, an agent hired us to go to Japan. There was a new club opening up there, so we spent 10 years in Japan. And then after that, we came back home to Vegas. And then we started doing cruise ships all around the world. We had that in common. We both love to travel and travel around the world. So that's another reason why we became so close. We like talking about our travel. So we cruised for like 23 years. And then when COVID hit, the economy and the cruise ships kind of went under. And a friend of mine recently told me about a cruise that he did. It was called a river cruise. So we are going to be heading out to a river, the Mississippi River. We're going to be doing...
When is that coming up?
Yes, it's coming up on the 29th.
29th of June.
We'll be sailing for 2 weeks, and that'll be our first time on a river cruise, and I'm looking forward to it.
So now first I said, when was the last time you was on a cruise?
Last time I was on a cruise was, 2019, I believe it was.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
so 5 years ago, okay.
Yeah.
Here you are going to go back into the sea.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a river. It's not going to be the ocean.
And the one good thing about that is because it's going to be in the United States, so if you need something, you can get off the ship and go to the Walgreens or the CVS, whereas I couldn't do that in Asia.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they don't have like makeup in my color. They don't have clothes my size because everybody's really little. So I had to have people send me stuff all the time. I used to get packages every week on the ship. So I'm looking forward to being on the river cruise. Something new and exciting for us.
We want your viewers out there to subscribe and hit on this program because you guys want to get information about Shirley, myself, and guests when we bring a guest on. So hit subscribe and play a hit that you like this show because we want the show to keep on going. We thank our sponsors for being backing us up and whatnot, but we really like sharing all our information. I want you to tell a little bit more about your husband, Wesley. Now, he's played with some big groups back east.
He was with a group from our hometown of Philadelphia called the Stylistics. He was with them for like 8 years, and then after that, he left. He went with Lionel Richie and the Commodores for 3 years. He did another group in New York called BT Express, and then he decided he wanted to go out on his own, and that's when we met, and then we started performing together. Matter of fact, we have a show coming up on Saturday night at the Sterling Club at Turnberry Place. And
that's here in Las Vegas?
Yes. So
what time is that show?
First time there. I think they start at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
But you have to get tickets.
Twice as nice.
Yeah.
And they can call the Sterling Club for reservations.
Yes, absolutely.
It'll be a nice event.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So you guys want to watch good Motown music, all kinds of music. Shirley and her husband are really great. You got to see them. I love them. First time I went to see the show, it was just amazing.
Oh, thank you. One thing I like about performing internationally is we get to sing in so many languages. Right now we sing in like 7 languages, which is something good. Sometimes, I had to write out the words phonetically. They would try to teach me the songs, and I'm like, okay, how do you pronounce this? So I would write it down like I would hear it in my ear. And that's how I learned the song. So everybody says, oh, you speak so many languages. It's like, no, I don't speak it. I can sing it, and I don't speak it, though, but okay. But it's kind of fun.
I tell you, I used to love the music back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. I mean, the a cappella doo-wop stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Little Anthony, the Imperials.
Yeah. Yes.
the Platters.
Yes.
You know,
Oh my God,
there were so
yeah.
many groups out there. In the still of the night.
I love it when you serenade me. Yes.
Anyway, I love my dwarf. So I used to want to be a singer. It never happened because I really didn't have the voice. But my dream was to do something to entertain the people out there. So it didn't happen though. So I got Shelley and her husband Wesley, good friends. I used to love to listen to their music.
Oh, we
So
love
tell us a
you,
little
man.
bit more about, how did Wesley get started with the music?
Oh, he was very young, and his cousin was an opera singer. So she would be rehearsing and singing the scales, and Wesley would sit down at the piano, and he would just play what he heard. You know, he had a very good ear for it. And then as he got older, he continued to play classical music, and then he got, a different kind of music he would play. And then these guys walked past his house, and the window was open. And these were members of the Stylistics, and that's how he got involved with them. They
Really?
heard him playing, and they're like, "We're looking for a keyboard player." And then they went up and knocked on the door, and they asked, his grandmother answered the door, and they're like, "Who's that playing? We want to get him to, to join the group." And his grandmother was like, "No, he's in the church. He only plays classical and church music. He's not going." And she slammed the door in their face, but he snuck out and ended up going to the rehearsal anyway. And then the rest is history. So
Wow,
that's
that's
what
amazing.
happened.
Well, before we wrap up the show, I want to talk a little bit more about our sponsor, who's Robert Edmonds, who's a great guy, and we'll be doing a show together here, a regular show. You'll be seeing Robert Edmonds and I doing a show next starting in July. So it will be a nice thing we'll be hopefully getting together with him on that. But anyway, we want to go one more commercial before we wrap it up.
Are you interested in solar energy but concerned that it won't work for you? Your roof needs repairs. You might want to move. Your electricity bill isn't that high, or you're just not sure if you would qualify for incentives. Integrity Solar America is a veteran-owned business and your trusted source for solar. We'll educate you on solar with straight answers about the 30% federal tax credit and installation costs. Visit integritysolaramerica.com or call us at 1-800-998-1569.
Okay, welcome again to the Joe Cortez Show here with my co-host Shelley Stevens. Is just amazing how I was able to get my co-host like Shelley, who's amazing. Her husband is so happy that we're able to do the show together because she says that singing every week on a weekend is not enough. I said, well, I'll keep you busy with the shows that we can do on a regular basis. Anyway, it's so much fun having you on the show. We can share your experiences that you've had with your entertainment, with your husband, traveling around the world. And here you are now in Las Vegas, performing at the Sterling Club on the June 22nd to the 22nd.
Yeah.
I believe that show starts at 6 p.m. at the Sterling Club. And don't miss it because, you were talking about nice singers that bring you that Motown music, bring you back in the day, bring back memories of the days when your husband was performing with Lionel Richie.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be doing a mixture of music that night. We're actually going to tell a musical story about our career and the songs that were out when we met and the first songs that we performed together. We'll move into Motown. We're going to do a couple songs in Italian. We're going to do, I'm not even going to tell you, you're just going to have to come and see. It's going to be a very, very special show, especially crafted for our first time at the Sterling Club to keep everybody's interest up. We might throw a little Bruno Mars in there, too. You never know.
But it's so nice to be able to share our experiences with you guys because it's not every day that we get to talk to everybody about. But everybody please enjoy your career in boxing. You've been around all over the world, and Shelley's been performing with her husband Wesley for so many years, and here we are together in Las Vegas doing something that we love doing, which is entertaining the viewers, entertaining them, and showing them a little bit of what we did. And want you guys to also, do what we're doing. Doesn't have to be singing or boxing, but whatever you're doing, be confident, have the self-esteem, have the go get it. You you got that burning in your stomach, you want to do something, go for it, do it. You know, believe in yourself, believe you can do it, pay it forward, but always, you know, I wrote something down this morning which I thought was so important, and it was about just thinking about people just getting involved. You know, I always say if you want to do something in life, you have to think positive, but you also have to, you know, if you want to reach a certain level in life, you have to, you know, go for it. Don't be afraid to make a move. Believe in yourself. Keep going forward and make it happen. Because you know your attitude is what gets you to the height of being at the altitude you're gonna go. So your attitude is. You got to believe in that. Your attitude. You got to change the attitude. Be positive so you can reach the altitude that you want to reach in life.
It's beautiful.
You know.
That's right.
Okay, guys, we'll catch you guys next week. Take care, God bless, and keep your guards up at all time. Remember, I'm fair, but I'm firm, and she's beautiful.
Thank
Take care,
you.
guys. We'll
See you
you
next
guys.
week.